Hi guys! So welcome to Eelin'in's epic morning! Woohoo! So today it's a bit of a hot topic. We will talk a little bit about the immigrants versus expats. I want you to imagine me standing in the border control in Peru. It was my second trip to Peru and I was sweating and I was nervous because my Peruvian friend had told me, "Oh, you're coming to Peru in such a short time again? They will check you, do a body search, they will go through your luggage." So I was standing there. I really nervously passed over my passport like this, and with a bit of a stuttering Spanish, I said, "Hola." And then he asked me if I like Peru, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I like Peru." And he's like, "Cool." Stamped my passport and gave it to me. So, starting off with that story, a little bit of a personal detail, I thought it could be cool to sort of look at what expat and immigrant actually means. And well, immigration and immigrants is actually something that everyone is doing. So, anyone who's traveling into a country is an immigrant, basically. Migration has to do with movement, so you're moving from one place to another. And as now we're considering the world through countries, then migrants are people crossing borders through to different countries. So an immigrant is coming into a country, an emigrant is going out from a country. An expat is someone who's traveling from a certain country to another country and sort of recognized through their origin rather than where they arrived. So I would be an expat, a Finnish expat, but I'm a Turkish immigrant. So a bit of a heavy breakfast topic here, but the fact that when you are immigrating into a country, you sort of start from zero, depending on your networks, depending on your contacts, depending on your ability to integrate into the local community where you arrive, sets your sort of level in that community. It seems like people are thinking, okay, they're coming here then to, make their life better, which means that they had pretty poor starting points in life and so on, which is not always the case. I would say each immigration story has its own framework. And in my case, I'm looking for a better life. I'm traveling abroad and go to develop myself. I learn about the places I go to. I meet people. I create networks, and I develop. I become a better person, and hopefully that will lead into me having a better employment opportunities and better opportunities in life in general. An expat is also somehow related to money. So someone who could afford to go abroad, someone who invests in the other countries, and who sort of brings higher standards to the country that they travel to by being there. I think personally my biggest worry was when I moved to Estonia and I had the idea of Finnish people going there, partying. There's a lot of alcohol tourism towards Finland from Estonia. And I was worried that this is how people will see me, but actually what they were seeing was someone who's contributing to the local economy, who is able to, buy services. So an expat and an immigrant are valued differently, even though they're in many cases living the same realities. And never has it been more clear than when you're applying for residence permits in different countries. I have applied for residence permits in Italy, and then the second time I applied for a residence permit was in Estonia. And in Estonia, I was lucky to have help from my dear friend Le. Thank you, Le. And in the end, it was done quite electronically. They took my pictures there at the place, and then they did the process, and in a couple of weeks, I had my residence permit. The third time I applied for a residence permit was in Turkey when I did my Erasmus. And I'm again applying for a residence permit in Turkey, and I'm actually in the process of doing it as we speak. When we were here as exchange students, I say we because we were several people applying for the residence permits at the same time. We went as a group, we got some information, we got help from the university and so on. One of the guys started talking to me in Turkish and I didn't know what he was saying. Like I was totally non-proficient in Turkish at the time. Eventually, I got some help to understand that he was actually trying to tell me that the Finnish education system is great. And I, of course, appreciated him thinking so, but it was a bit funny since I was an exchange student in Turkey, coming from Estonia. But anyway, being an immigrant depends on, like, the value depends on where you're coming from, and being considered on the basis of where you're coming from is sort of already creating a inequality in the moment you're applying for a residence permit. Not so much maybe legally, like legally I'm in the same situation as the Syrian girl applying for a residence permit, as the American guy applying for the residence permit in Turkey. We're at the same office, we're doing the same thing, it's fine. But then socially you're in a different box. And I think it's quite interesting actually. One of my friends did her master's thesis about female immigrants integration into the labor market in Finland. And she, where Finland actually, like the government and the system is always talking about how Finnish immigrants or people who come into Finland should learn Finnish language, and that's the way they're going to integrate into the society, and it's going to end there. Like, when you learn Finnish language, you're integrated, you're part of society. It doesn't really work like that. Immigration is not, and this integration definitely, it's continuous. It's something that goes on. And also what my friend was saying was that it's not only a question about language. Like, in many cases, foreigners who even come to Finland, they find a job really easily because they have a lot of friends. They don't even learn Finnish in many cases. They just, adapt and integrate really fast. And then language becomes secondary. And Finland anyway is a country where almost everyone knows a little bit of English at least. You can survive on English, but to be integrated, that's maybe not survival. That's a little bit the next level. So you try to, become more part of society and be more active and do more things. And I know I get that feeling because now when I'm in Turkey, I decide I should not cut my hair or I cut my hair myself because I couldn't go to the hairdressers and explain how I want it cut. Or I can't, I get nervous going to the shop because what if I need to ask for something and they don't speak English, and how do I ask for it? And my really broken Turkish asking 3 things, really nightmare situation. So I get it. It's not, the easiest way to survive without language, but it's not the only way to integrate, really. It's not the only way. Yes, so being Finnish and being an immigrant in Turkey, I'm definitely privileged. People have positive ideas about what Finland is and where I'm coming from. I think people have a right to mobility. They have a right to move around, because I think that this sort of integration, or this sort of, let's say, global integration in a way, where you start to understand different people, where they come from, when you've seen how they live, you've seen how the different places work, you see how the social systems work, you see how things are going. It's a lot more, it opens your mind, it widens your views, you learn new things, you become a better person eventually, I hope. And I wish that would be sort of the learning outcome of it. Like, people would see that there's no point in putting down people who are coming to my country, and at the same time viewing people who go away from my country as something great. It's just movement. It's just, you're an immigrant because you come into the country, you're an emigrant because you leave the country, you're an expat because you choose to keep your contacts in the different countries you're traveling from. I don't see why we should put different values. However, we just try to survive with the fact that there have been put different values on these different sort of titles for the same thing. I hope this video sort of helps lift the value of the word immigrant, and to help people really feel, valuable in themselves and feel the right to their own mobility. Don't let the other people put you down. You can do it. You can survive in another country and experience the wonderland, which is this world. Subscribe, and we try to keep you posted with new and interesting topic conversations. Yay! It is epic! Epic Morning Show number 2, just there. Yay! Bye.